wasn't it? We said before the game that they needed to show some kind of intent today to make up for those games and previously they've lost. But you can't teach the players to do that. No. They've had that mentality today and came out such a pace. Yeah,
and I think it culminated in the second goal. Buendia closing the left back's made a poor decision, but his appetite and desire to close him down, block the pass, the forward pass, as culminated in the second goal, which has been really, I think, Norwich deserved. I mean, they've had the chances. Arguably it could have been more, but 2 goals, first 45 minutes, none conceded as well. Like I say, Stoke started the game early and they did quite well. Mikel should have scored, middle of the goal, but like I say, Norwich fully deserved their 2-0 win, 2-0 ahead at half time.
But Stoke have had their opportunities, haven't they? Said Mikel had one and they hit the bar, which is a free kick as well. But they do look a little bit of a threat at times, which any team, you can't expect teams to come and not have any opportunities whatsoever. But at 1-0, that always looks a little bit tricky, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I say, Mikel missed a great chance, middle of the goal, 8 yards out. You should be hitting their target. That was before Norwich scored, and Fletcher's caused some problems in the air. The offside goal, which was rightly ruled off. Hanley's looked a little hesitant on a couple of just aimless forward balls, made the wrong decision, allowed the opponent to get a run on goal. But apart from that, Norwich again have looked solid, but I mean, very impressive going forward. All throughout the team today, the 2 fullbacks have played high up the pitch. Skip even has been making runs into the offensive areas, and Vrancic as well in that number 10 area. But we're very impressed with Norwich's offensive performance today.
Yeah, absolutely. We can talk to the King of Spain now. He's out in the gantry. He's going to join us again. Simon, it's been a great performance by Norwich, isn't it? That first half. And I listened to your commentary, and you said exactly as we said in the studio. There seems to be a real intent about getting bodies in the box, which we haven't seen in recent weeks. And they could have had 4 or 5 in that first half.
Yeah, they thoroughly deserved their 2-0 lead, Darren. And as you said, the chance from Obi Mikel from the corner, it was maybe a little bit of a wake-up call because it's so early in the game, but from then on in, for the next 15-20 minutes, the amount of times that Norwich get into wide areas with Yanulis and Aarons, and instead of looking for that killer pass or trying to get to the byline, their first thought was to put the balls in the box, give Stoke something else to think about. They'll be coming here expecting Norwich to look to come in the park and look to thread balls in between them. But the amount of times they got into wide areas and put balls in the box and it caused danger. And they should have maybe had another couple of goals with some of the balls they put in the box, but certainly deserved a 2-0 lead. The first goal was outstanding play. It's something that we associate with Norwich over the last couple of years, playing from back to front, passing through the teams, all the things that we are saying there about putting balls in the box, and then typically they go and score with a brilliant goal with 15 or 20 passes, whatever it was. But a great finish from Cantwell. And then the second goal was just the sheer desire from Buendia. That's what he brings to the team, as well as his creative spark, his work rate, just to go and close down Fox and win the ball and lays it on a plate for Pukki. So Norwich certainly deserved their 2-0 lead, I think.
And you mentioned Emi Buendia there. Is it as simple as putting that missing piece back into the jigsaw? Because he was kind of influential in everything Norwich did in that first half. Epitomised all the good that Norwich did.
It's easy to say that now because the performance that he's produced, but it's no coincidence. That isn't at all. That's what he does. If we talk about his creative side, but the work rate, him at Pukki as well, people going about his goal scoring, and maybe he's not scored an X amount of games, but he's so much more than just that and what he brings to the team. And that's the same throughout the team. The work rate's there first and foremost. That's got to be one of the givens. And it got them joy with the second goal with Buendia, just pressing, just so eager to go and get the ball back. And as I said, they definitely deserve to be 2-0 up.
And do you think as well, approaching into the second half now, do they sit back and sit on their 2-0 lead, or is this one of those games when actually they want to put a statement out there and to say, look, we are hurt that we haven't won in those last 3 games. We want to score 3 or 4, 5 maybe goals to really put a statement out there to the other teams?
Yeah, I think they have to go for it and try and take the game to Stoke again. As Rob said there, Fletcher's always going to be a threat for them. The offside goal, the chance for Mikel. But this game's far from finished. But if Norwich go and get the next one, then I'm sure they'll grow in confidence again and they might go and get that. But they need to be wary of that threat, of course they do. They know the game's not done yet, but they're certainly capable, if they produce that again, of going and getting a few more.
Yeah, top man Laps, thanks for joining us, mate. Enjoy the second half.
You too, guys. Thank you.
So again, we always say about 2-0 being a difficult scoreline to go into half-time, but I'd imagine Daniel Farke's instructions will be, let's get at them again. Because goal difference does play a big part in the leagues, doesn't it, when you're up near the top especially, well, and down the bottom. Yeah. So they need to score more goals. So is this an opportunity today to get perhaps 3, 4, 5 goals?
I think so, and I think like Stoke are playing into their hands really. I mean, a couple of times in the half you say that they were compact as a whole unit, but overall in that half, I think Stoke were open. I mean, they didn't get men back to close those gaps and whatever.
Can you show us on here then? Because my producer and me are saying we've got to use the ball because we put it in. So, you know, in terms of the way Stoke are playing, they're not. I mean, they've got Fletcher up front, who's always he's a decent centre forward, but Hanley would know him quite well because of the Scotland background as well. So they're not causing that much of a threat, are they? But it's the way Norwich are playing going forward that it's causing the most problems.
And I think what it is, you know, I mean, like you've got Giannoulis up here, you've got Aaron's
is he making a massive difference because he's left-footed?
100%, because like when Sorensen was playing, Sorensen would be here. And you'd have the winger out there. So what that's doing is making a problem. If these are not coming back, it's allowing these more space in here because they're having to go across and you get more space for Vrancic, and Buendia's making runs in there because like, obviously like Aaron's is up there, Giannoulis, it allows Todd Cantwell. And if Stoke don't retreat and recover as a unit, what all the other teams that we've watched here so far, that becomes a problem then. But Stoke haven't done. They haven't recovered, and all of a sudden it allows space for your Pukis. And like I say, like Cantwell's goal, he picked the ball up here, picked the ball up here. Great run, don't get me wrong, but he picked the ball up under no pressure. Against other teams, when they're behind the ball, he hasn't got that space to run into. So I think that's what's good about his Giannoulis' inclusion today. It gives you a natural left footer.
And what that does is it draws the right back out here, which then gives the spaces for Pukki and Buendia and Todd Campbell to work
100%. Because like you say, if you just imagine Sorensen's been back here, you've got to have a man out there. So you're taking one of these men out of here. Today it's worked well because he's high up the pitch. Their reluctance to recover as a compact 9-10 man behind the ball, it's allowing the people like Campbell and Buendia, who haven't got man markers today, they're expressing themselves really well. And like you say, Buendia's like, okay, he created the goal, but he's put some lovely balls through to slide rule balls through to Pukki's run. And basically the only thing missing at the moment is Pukki not scoring a goal because he's made some great runs. You know, I mean, probably should have done better on some of them.
He has scored.
Huh? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Which game are you watching?
That's right, only that one. But like I say, from open play, you know what I mean? Like I say, that was like a tap in, and that's caused by Buendia's like desire. But like the runs he's making are the runs we know he can make and whatever. Like and like the goal against Stoke away, those balls into the bottom corner.
And him as a centre forward, did he need one like that? Literally a yard out, stick it in the back of the net, up goes the confidence.
Like I say, you mean look, in the paper tomorrow, it'll be Pukki scored. He won't care at it, don't he? You mean like I say, Norwich won't care at them. They've got 2 goals now in the bag. I think 2-0 is good enough for the game with the way Stoke have played in that first half, and I can only see Norwich going on to score more goals. They've got to be like, obviously remain like conscious of the fact that Fletcher is a threat, but that's when Fletcher's your only threat. I think Hanley and Gibbs can deal with them pretty well.
Yeah. Well, listen from Tony Spearing now, who's joined us on the gantry again to hear his thoughts of that first half. Tony, it's been pretty decent. You know, you must be a bit of a good luck charm to Norwich because we haven't seen them be much of an attacking threat like that in recent weeks. But then you're here, they've created chance after chance. And you were saying, you know, actually Norwich are probably the best team you've seen in this division this season.
Yeah, that's true. They are by far. Listen, you know, they haven't scored in the last few games, but their form's been pretty good. You know, they're playing well enough to got those victories, but it hasn't happened. Stoke today have been, for me, disappointing. Although they are a threat at 1-0, you know, they had a couple of opportunities with Fletcher. But I look at it with the second goal, I think that's killed him. I would hope and think that Norwich will now go on and win the game comfortably, 2 or 3 goals.
And is it about Norwich's movement? And we've seen in recent weeks, actually, they haven't been that dynamic going forward, but today they look very different. But you know, you've got Buendia back in today. Can it be as much down to as that one player kind of changing the way everything Norwich doing it in an attacking sense? Well,
he's the playmaker of the side. He makes things happen. He's a good player. You look at the second goal they scored. You know, he's picked Pukki out. You know, most players could lose their heads and take a shot from a acute angle. But he's picked Pukki out. He doesn't want the plaudits. He just wants the victory. And now I think Norwich are very comfortable. I've been disappointed with Stoke. I've got to be honest with you. But you're only as good as the way that Norwich let you play, and they've steamrolled them at times. Yeah, and like we said before, do you expect Norwich to come out in the second half? And because goal difference plays a big part in the Championship, do you expect them to come out and kind of get 3-4 goals? They're not going to settle for the 2, are they? And kind of just fluff through this second half. They need to make a statement. Yeah, they do. But every time I've seen Norwich this season, they play the same way. You know, they play on they get in the last third. You know, I'd like to see them take more shots. They seem at times to want to walk the ball into the goal and score, but that hasn't happened. You look at Todd's goal, absolutely fantastic. Where that started and where it finished was outstanding. So But more shots raining in on the goalkeeper would be good. But sometimes you can overplay. But the Norwich are comfortable at 2-0. But the next goal is always important. You let Stoke in there, it's going to put Norwich on the back foot. But I look at it, and how I see the game. I think Norwich are proving that they're worthy of half time. Winning at half time, and they're worthy of their spot at the top of the championship.
Yeah, and you look at Norwich at the moment, and particularly the way they started that game. It says you set the tone, don't you, early on in the first 5 minutes of that game, and right from the start, they probably could have been 2 or 3 up before they did actually score.
Yeah, that's true. But, Stoke have got a danger. You look at it, McKell's just put one past the post. Fletcher scored. I was a little bit disappointed he wanted offside, to be fair. I think he'd be disappointed with that himself. So they carry a threat, Stoke. They've got some good, experienced players in the side. But for me, they haven't stepped up to it today. They're inviting Norwich on, which, if you invite Norwich on, eventually they will do you, which is proof the case. Going in 1-0 gives Stoke hope. Going in at 2-0, for me, game's out of sight now.
Cheers, Spiro. We'll see you at full time. Thanks for joining us, mate. He's done. But look, he's got a point in terms of, so if you're looking at this now in the second half, what is Daniel Farke's message? Is it go out and win 3 or 4? Do we just consolidate and make sure we don't concede early? I can't see them doing anything other than trying to get 2 or 3 more goals, because they've been totally dominant over Stoke today. And it is, sometimes you need to send out a message, don't you, to people watching, to other teams, to Brentford and Swansea, who will be looking at Norwich's result. Yeah. If Norwich can win by 3 or 4 today, they look at it and go, do you know what, they're back.
That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. It looks like they've been hurt in the previous games, probably unjustified, really. But they've come out today, and I think their all-round performance, both defensively and offensively, but especially offensively, has been spot on. They're 100% closing players down. They're 100% going beyond, like Pookie, like you're making runs beyond that. So they've put a real statement out, and then if they can go on and win 3 and 4-0, that is a real statement then, I think.
Yeah. Has that been a deliberate thing by the football club? The type of messages we've been hearing coming out this week from Stuart Webber and Daniel Farke, and the way they've been talking, has that almost kind of refocused the players? Because, look, we both know the players would never have been in a position where they thought we're going to walk this league. No. But is it putting that statement out there to say to the fans and to people watching, look, we are on this. We know what we're doing. Yeah. Take pride in where we are on the table at the moment and actually trust us in what we're doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is like a statement to the fans, really, isn't it? So, like, calm down, breathe. We're still in this race. There's no way we're going away from this race. And I think that's what the performance today is saying. And listen, we know how good we are. Okay, we haven't been playing badly, we've not been scoring goals, but we know how good we are. We can show what we've done. Our talisman is back today. But it's not only him coming back, but obviously it's a boost to the whole team. But like I say, everyone to a man today, that first 45 minutes has done well.
And generally as well, this group of Norwich players have done this before in a build-up to a championship finish to get into the Premier League. So they've seen it and done it. They know what's expected of them.
No, 100%. Like I say, they know they've been there and whatever, and they know. And like I say, it's probably good that they've had this week off where they can sort of like digest things and whatever, like, and regroup, get on the training pitch and whatever. They know what they're about. They've had a bit of a rest, and they've come out today, and probably Stoke are a good team to play at home today. Like they're not as sort of like compact as a Middlesbrough or something like that. So they're a bit more open. So it's allowed Norwich to do what they can do best.
Yeah, obviously a good team to come up against at the moment is Stoke. We're off for the second half. We'll see you at full time. Enjoy the game.